Hey, how's it going? Today we're going to talk about two fraudsters and how they took over the world with their fake photographs before Photoshop. Quite skilled with double exposure. The newly invented medium of photography was quite popular during the age that it came by. During the Civil War, many people lost a lot of people due to war, famine, and death. Even children. So what they would love to do was take photographs of their dead ones, pose them in specific ways with piping and poles so it looks more alive. They'd even open their eyes at times. Victorian England had a unique relationship with death. Because Victorians died young, died quickly, and died of injuries and infections, modern medicine helped abolish and evaporated grieving rituals with photography. The invention of photography also brought a movement of hauntings and seances. And mediums during the rise of the spiritual movement, this is what this era was called, photography was a perfect way to connect with the spirit realm. A jeweler engraver by trade and accidental inventor of spirit photography, Mumler figured out how to produce images with double exposure. Double exposure is taking one photograph and also overlaying it with another. Mumler figured out how to use these double exposures, giving one figure a ghostly quality. His first ghostly image, taken in March of 1861, was a total accident. He took a self-portrait in a friend's studio using a plate that already was exposed. This image was circulated as a gag, and then fell into the hands of somebody at the Herald of Progress, a spiritualist journal. From there, his popularity exploded and his story began. Soon, accounts of Mumler's first self-portrait was embellished with stories of arm feeling numb. Some stories claim he couldn't take more than 2 or 3 spirits at a time, with photographs a day. For connecting with the spirit world was exhausting. Of course it was. You're connecting with another realm. Who can do that on one single day? It takes 2 at least. For just shy of 2 years, Mumler worked as a medium, taking portraits of living folks and capturing the spirits of their loved ones and sometimes lost strangers from beyond the grave. These ghostly renderings became so popular that spiritualists hailed these photographs as scientific evidence of their beliefs. Good job, religion. Mumler then became a full-time spirit photographer, continuing to work in Boston, but eventually moving to New York, where his work was analyzed by numerous photography experts, none of whom could find evidence of fraud. Spirit photography was a lucrative business, thanks to enormous death tolls that resulted from the Civil War. Thousands of families sought reassurance that their loved ones were okay after death. Bostoners began lining up at the small portrait studio to pay as much as $10 for the likeness of the loved ones. Mumler sold himself as someone who could not explain what was happening or why he was chosen. He was astonished as everyone else was suddenly had ghostly appearances on camera. Over time, the evidence against Mumler started to mount. In one case, Mumler created a photograph for a woman who had recently lost her brother in the Civil War. When the brother returned home, things got awkward. I would say that. But instead of accusing Mumler, the faithful woman accused evil spirits of the wrongdoing. Another case was harder to dodge. A man visiting Mumler's studio recognized a female ghost as his wife, who was not alive, but recently had her portrait taken by Mumler. In February 1863, a doctor took his portrait with a spirit photograph developed. He really recognized that spirit was actually very much alive. He was outraged and led to the crusade to oust Mumler as a faker. Mumler was sued and acquitted, but his reputation was ruined for a little bit. Mumler tried relocating to New York in 1869. But he was quickly arrested and tried for fraud. The New York prosecutors called a parade of expert witnesses, who offered at least 9 ways that Mumler could have used photographic trickery to produce this ghostly image. P.T. Barnum, the famous carnival expert, a certified expert on suckers, commissioned a fake photograph of himself with the ghost of Abe Lincoln to present a damning evidence in the trial. But the jury was unconvinced, of course, with photographic evidence. Sure, there were a million ways that Mumler could have faked the photos, but no one had caught him in the act and provided concrete evidence that he used these methods. The defense also cast in doubt minds of the jury about the presumed limits of photographic technology. The defense argued that humans didn't understand the new technology and that it was perceived as magic. They also said, how can we say that photography can't do this too, since it was so new and unique? Mumler's most famous photograph apparently showed Mary Todd Lincoln, her last photo actually, with the ghost of her husband, Abe Lincoln. Paranormal researcher Melvin Whelan, in his book Ghosts Caught on Film, claims that the photo was taken around 1869, and that Mumler did not know that his sitter was Lincoln, instead believing her to be a Miss Tolno, William goes on to say that Mumler did not discover who she was until the photo was developed. Although the image has been dismissed as fraudulent double exposure, it has been widely circulated that it actually was real. Eva Carrière came to prominence sometime around 1905, when she would materialize the 300-year-old Indian Brahmin boa. Her alleged psychic powers became quite evident when she was around 18 years old, also the age when she lost her fiancé, one of the people she did not connect with. One of the visitors to Carrie's sessions was Albert Friar von Nancian, a respected German physician and researcher of paranormal activities. He would document her seances through a series of photographs, which according to spiritualist debunker Harry Price, served as the eventual proof that the apparitions were rather fake than authentic. The figure of the Indian boa on some of the photographs actually looked as if he was fashioned from a large cardboard cutout. The magician Carlos Maria Herdea replicated the ectoplasm of Carrie using a comb, gauze, and handkerchief. The Hungarian medium Laszlo confirmed as much in 1923 when he admitted the ectoplasm gushing from his mouth and nose in pictures was actually cotton wool smeared with goose fat. Tasty. Other visitors to Carrie's seances remarked that boa seemed as if he was breathing while moving around the place because that's what ghosts do when they're dead. They breathe. Another photograph confirms this claim by revealing boa to be a live human, likely paid by the medium to dress for the occasion and act out the apparition of boa. Perhaps the most interesting aspect is that people still supported the claims of boa even though it was clearly fake. They would affirm that the spirit would come out of Eva and then eventually go back into her body. For a long period, Carrie was one of the most popular spiritualists at that time frame. A newspaper article in 1906 revealed that an Arab coachman known as Arski, who had previously worked at the villa, had been hired to play the part of boa, and that the entire thing was a hoax. He also wrote that he made his appearance through a trapdoor in the room. He also admitted to be involved with the hoax. The medium would prepare clothing before wearing them for a session. A female medium would frequently use a white dress of pure silk, washed several times. The special treatment of the clothing would have allowed the medium to quickly withdraw her clothing, revealing a couple layers underneath. In case of Carrie, a fabric portraying boa remained hidden in her underwear, the hoax reliant on the probability that nobody would investigate her naked body. Records suggest Eva Carrière was certainly not shy, nor did she appear completely exhausted at the end of the spirit-evoking sessions, unlike Mumler. Before a new round was up, Eva's assistant and lover, Julia Bison, helped Eva run fingers into her orifices to provide proof that the whole thing was not a fraud and that there was no fake ectoplasm hidden anywhere. Reportedly, in a surprising finale, Carrie would have sex with her patrons and also her assistant while she was doing the seance, because that's how you get the ghosts to come up. The Society of Physical Research in London conducted a more serious inquiry that Carrie ectoplasm in 1920. Their investigation confirmed that the ectoplasm faces were fake, created out of paper collected from the French publication Cmwhalen. Carrie used cut-out faces of Woodrow Wilson, King Ferdinand of Bulgaria, French President Raymond Poincaré, and the actress Mona Dalza. Also in 1954, Rudolf Lambert published details of frauds which had been covered up by many early members of the Institute of Metaphysics International. Lambert discovered photographs taken by her companion Bison depicting fraudulent ectoplasm. Various materializations were artificially attached to Eva's hair by wiring. That's all I have for today. Thank you so much. What did you think of these fraudsters? Could they do even better nowadays with Photoshop? Let me know down in the comments down below. Thank you and have a great day.